Are you having trouble moving past certain stages in the orbit trials? Or even just grinding diamonds from the Hunter contest? The battles in love and deep space can be challenging, especially if you do not know what you're doing. I was the same way, and especially more so since I lack the reflexes and the hand-eye coordination. But that's all the more reason why I had to focus more on how to make the most of each companion. In this video, I'll focus on Xavier's available companions, how to acquire them, what makes them tick, and my recommendations on how to use them. I'll try to explain it as simply as I can, but let me know if some terms confuse you. And please take note that this is based on my experience, and if you have other thoughts, feel free to share them in the comments below. But before we discuss each companion, I want to quickly touch base with you first on the specific terms and setup in the game. Here's where the skills are. And since you clicked on this video, chances are you're already aware what companions are and that there are two types. The Myth Companions, where you unlock them by obtaining 5-star solar memory pairs, and the Non-Myth Companions, where you unlock them by playing the game. Aside from just being stronger by default, another feature of Myth Companions is that you can rank them up, giving more bonuses. But more on that later. In deciding which companions to use, there are several factors to consider, one of which is the number of enemies. One usually means it's a boss stage, where the enemy is hard-hitting, has higher HP, and usually has a gimmick or two. Whereas, multiple enemies or mobs are easier to deal with, but you will be running all over the place. Another thing to consider is that each stage can have protofield colors that you can either match to have an easier time breaking enemy shields, this is called color match, or stalactrum match. Or you can brute force it by not matching the colors, and while this can be harder to pull off without the right protocores, this can let you focus on a smaller set of memories. We do have a separate video that goes in depth on builds and protocores that you can check out after this video. And with that out of the way, let's get started with the companions. First up, we have the Deepspace Hunter. This companion is available right away, and is actually the first one you will use as part of the tutorial in the game. The Deepspace Hunter is a single target burst DPS, which means he deals high damage to one enemy, making this companion useful in boss stages. He does have AoE, or area of effect damage, so he can deal with mobs as well. Personally, using Deepspace Hunter is pretty straightforward, and he's pretty flexible on what kind of build you want for him. Try your best to reach around 60 to 70% crit rate first, then I would recommend damage to weakened protocores for boss stages, while crit damage protocores would be suitable for mob stages. But if you can only choose one, the Deepspace Hunter does have 7% crit rate increase, so I would lean more on that. This companion also has 20% attack buff for 8 seconds after each resonance skill. That's why I find that the best weapon with him is the Hunter Sword, which gives fast and relatively heavy hits. Given this buff, you should consider equipping expedited energy protocores as well to keep dishing out resonance skill. Next up is Distant Youth. You unlock this companion once you complete Under Deep Space, Chapter 3 to 14. While this companion does have attack damage and AoE damage, his passive skills gives you instances of immunity when taking damage along with 50% damage reduction. So if you're having trouble with hard-hitting wanderers, this is the companion to consider. Although personally, I would rather try my best to avoid attacks and focus on increasing attack. One feature this companion has is that once you trigger his resonance skill, you'll increase your attack damage, and the higher the target's HP, the more damage you can inflict. So it's best to trigger his resonance skills early on, and try to trigger his ultimate right away to maximize it. Similar to Deepspace Hunter, Distant Youth is pretty flexible, get about 60 to 70% crit rate, then damage to weakened protocores for boss stages, while crit damage protocores would be suitable for mob stages. The best weapon with him is a Hunter Sword, fast to generate more sword intent and strong enough to have significant increase for the increase in attack damage. Then we have Evol Police. You unlock this companion when you obtain 6 4-star and above Xavier memories. Evol Police is a crowd control that targets multiple enemies at once. One of the features I like about this companion is Immobilized. When you trigger either your active skill or resonance skill, transmitted light will be inflicted on the enemy, and once you reach 6 stacks, the enemy will be immobilized and will take 20% more damage. While this companion is definitely the best non-myth option for mob control, I personally think he can dish out strong attacks for boss stages as well. Evol Police is also pretty flexible. Try your best to reach around 60 to 70% crit rate with substats, then damage to weakened and oath recovery for boss stages, while crit damage and expedited energy would be suitable for mob stages. The best weapon with him is also the Hunter Sword, especially since its speed is best for triggering Immobilize and it relies on basic attack damage. Moving on to Myth Companions. Lightseeker can be unlocked once you're able to obtain both Light-Seeking Memory Pair, 5-star memories, Light-Seeking Obsession, and Light-Seeking Shadow Rend. Both can be acquired from the standard banner X Space Echo and other limited banners. I find that Lightseeker is pretty good as a single target DPS, which means he's good in boss stages, even though there's emphasis in AoE here. This just means he's good in both. One of the features I like about Lightseeker is that his support skill recharges 6% of Ardent Oath's energy. This will help you trigger the ultimate skill or Ardent Oath earlier or multiple times in a battle. Lightseeker also offers attack buffs through his support, passive, and resonance skills with some dealing AoE damage. We mentioned earlier that one difference from non-myth companions is the ability to rank up and get pair bonuses. In Lightseeker, you start with increased damage and reduced damage taken. Then at rank 1, you get a boost in Ardent Oath charge by 20%, which helps you trigger Ardent Oath faster. At rank 2, you'll have an additional energy charge, which helps you dish out more skills and damage reduction. And at rank 3, increased damage and reduction in cooldown of your active skill. And by the way, to rank up means when you pull duplicates of the same memory. But in this instance, you'd need memories of both pairs at the same rank to get the bonus. With this in mind, this means that your strategy and equipped protocors will also change depending on what rank you are. Take for example, at rank 1, you won't be needing Oath Recovery Protocor anymore, given that you're already getting a significant boost. Lightseeker scales with attack, so choose protocors with attack substats. As for the main stats, you can use Oath Recovery and Expedited Energy for the square protocors of Solar Memories, then change Oath Recovery to another Expedited Energy once you reach rank 1. Then with Lunar Memories, use damage to weaken for boss stages, while crit damage for mob stages. Make sure you have at least about 60% crit rate in both. As for the weapon, his exclusive companion weapon would always be the best match, especially since it has skills that help add on to the companion's skills. Has the video been helpful so far? Make sure to subscribe so you're always in the loop for the latest on Love and Deepspace updates and gameplay tips. Plus, it's an easy way to stay connected with a community that shares your love for the game. And finally, we have Lumiere. This companion unlocks after obtaining Midnight Memory Pair. The 5-star Solar Memories, Midnight Whispers, and Midnight Rainfall are available through its limited myth banner and its reruns. Lumiere has a lot of pretty useful debuff and crowd control skills. Aside from attack and speed reduction, his skills all aim at an area, so plenty useful for mobs. My favorite would be how he draws the enemies into certain areas. That said, this companion hits hard and deals high damage, so Lumiere is still pretty good in boss stages, especially with his damage over time. With Lumiere, you start with increased damage, reduced damage taken, and increased debuff effect. Then at rank 1, you also get a boost in Ardent Oath charge by 20%, which helps you trigger Ardent Oath faster, and an increase in damage. At rank 2, you'll also get an additional energy charge, which helps you dish out more skills and reduce active skill cooldown. And at rank 3, increased damage and chance to activate increase in crit damage by 30%. Lumiere scales with defense, so choose protocols with defense substats. As for the main stats, you can stick with Oath Recovery and Expedited Energy or Oath Strength for the square protocols of Solar Memories, then change Oath Recovery to another Expedited Energy once you reach rank 1. With Lunar Memories, it's honestly similar with the other companions. Damage to weakened for boss stages, while crit damage for mob stages, still making sure you have at least about 60-70% crit rate. As for the weapon, his exclusive companion weapon would always be the best match, especially since it has skills that help complement the companion's skills. Here's a side-by-side comparison of all Xavier's companions, and remember, Lumiere scales on defense. Knowing the strengths of each companion definitely helped me in getting unstuck in the orbits, and even grind more diamonds in the Hunter contest. So, I hope it at least gave you an idea on the different features of each companion. But if those terms confuse you, up next, we're breaking it down to the basics. Protocors, their attributes, and some solid builds and strategies to match whatever stage you're at. It's gonna be a fun one, so I'll see you there.